So today we're going to be looking at 10 of the most affordable fragrance clones of the most expensive men's fragrances on the market, of which these fragrance clones that we're looking at are clones of some very popular expensive fragrances on the market. So you see these hyped up all the time. However, a lot of them could be quite a stretch. Some going into the multiple hundreds of dollars for one singular bottle. That just isn't realistic for everybody. And so if you can get a clone that gets you about 85, 90, maybe even 95% similar, get you decent performance at a fraction of the price, a lot of times that is the way to go, especially with how good these clones have been getting lately. So we do have 10 of them here. Now, I do want to let you know of one thing, and that is generally, because these do so well, they sell out, okay? And they'll be sold out for a little while. Sometimes it can be hard to get them. So if a couple of these are sold out, I do apologize. It would be impossible for me to time a video like this to where everything's in stock, because a couple of them would end up selling out when I'm trying to get the video up. That's just kind of how it's going to be. However, I do have a very useful resource for you, and that is my mailing list. You can hit the first link down below in the description and sign up. It's completely free. And every time something rare, discontinued, hard to find, a good deal comes into stock, I shoot an email out to you guys. I also do the same thing on my community tab. So if you don't want emails, that's fine. Check on the community tab on the hour every single day. And whenever something comes in stock, I will notify you there as well. But email is going to be your best bet to get that notification, because these generally do go quick. And we'll get it started off with Paris Corner Charuto Tobacco Vanille by Pandora Scents. So I guess it's Pandora Scents and then Charuto Tobacco Vanille, but on the back of the bottle and the sticker, it is Paris Corner. So these clone brands have been branching out and creating all of these sub-brands basically. And so kind of hard to keep track of, not that it really matters anyway. As you could probably imagine, this is a Tom Ford Tobacco Vanille clone, and when in stock, I want to say it's usually like 22 bucks, maybe 25, but that might even be pushing it. Right around that $20 range. And I gotta say, this is impressive. As soon as I first got this one in, I smelled it. I'm like, that is an amazing clone, because you're getting the tobacco and vanilla, as you would probably imagine, and you're getting that Christmas type of smell, you know, the holiday smell. But in particular with this, there's almost this kind of fizzy, bubbly nature off the top. Kind of similar to, I guess, the texture that you get from something like Roja Enigma, you know, that kind of bubbly, fizzy cola texture. Yeah, you get that from here, and that really makes this one super addicting. I love wearing this one, and this is important to actually wear it on skin. Now, it smells great off the atomizer. Smells great in the air, but when you get this one on your skin and it starts mixing with your skin chemistry and you get some heat applied to it, it opens up and smells beautiful. Now, this is one in particular that generally will sell out. I think it might be sold out at the time of me shooting this video, actually. Maybe you'll get lucky and it'll be in stock whenever I put this up. But again, the point is, if you want a fighting chance of getting this, just get on the mailing list and I'll get you taken care of. And same thing is going to be with this next one here. We have Maison Alhambra, the Tux. Now this is a Lattafa sub-brand, so just a little FYI there. It's not like if you see on the discounters it says, you know, Lattafa Alhambra or whatever. So officially it is Lattafa first and foremost, but their Alhambra line has been expanding quite a bit. And so this is one of their newer ones, and as you could probably imagine, I've already done a review on this. This is a clone of Tuxedo. Also right around, I think, $22, somewhere around in there, kind of a random number, but I do think it's 22. And this did sell out pretty quick. Similar deal, it'll pop back up at some point, and you'll be able to pick up a bottle or two, and all will be well. Now, when it comes to the other clones, I've already broken this down in the review, but just to give you a really quick rundown, for the price, this is the closest one on the market right now. It's even closer than Mustache, even closer than Tarathi Brown by AFNAN. Now, that being said, those are great as well. This has more of the patchouli going on that Tuxedo actually has, where Mustache kind of lacks that. And Mustache is also going to be more than double the price. And sometimes that's even close to 70 bucks on discounters. So, you know, if you're just really wanting to pinch pennies, you want the presentation to look similar as well, and you want to get about as close as you can possibly get to the real deal at a severe budget here, a really nice price deficit, go for the Tux. Okay, next up we have Paris Corner Amir Fire Your Desire, and this is going to be your Killian Angels Share clone. So everybody knows Lattafa Camera, very hot seller. That one often will be out of stock as well. And when it comes back, man, I'm telling you, it flies. Just recently, it came back in stock. I sent an email out, posted on my community tab. And I think that thing sold out within the evening. I think it was up for a couple hours and it was gone. Several hundred units ended up being sold. That was going for like $35. This one, you know, is going to be pretty hot as well, although it doesn't have the same amount of you know, hype and drive behind it. And also, this is a really good clone as well, and almost even a little bit closer to Angel Share than Camera. You know, Camera, it's very much a heavily inspired by of Angel Share, but there are some differences as well. The sweetness is done in a different way. It's still a great scent. I still really like it, but this one might even be a bit closer. So, you know, this is one also has a nice presentation, although it's not as similar to Angel Share as the Latafa is, but scent character-wise, this is a really well done one. Great performance, great quality. You can't go wrong with it. And again, the price is, I think, around $30, somewhere around in there. It's very reasonable. Let's keep it moving. I gotta say, this bottle here is really, really nice. AFNAN 9 AM Dive. So I've talked heavily about AFNAN 9 PM on the channel, and that is an ultra male clone. So this is going to be the complete opposite of ultra male. To me, this is kind of a Bleu de Chanel meets Y Eau de Parfum / Dylan Blue take. And so essentially what you're getting is you're getting some lemon and some other citruses. You're getting some ginger, a little bit of a spicy kick, and some incense, a little bit of a smokiness. So kind of that lemon, ginger, grapefruit combo alluding to Bleu de Chanel. However, there's some sweetness to this one that kind of gives it some of that Dylan Blue vibe. Also the smokiness, the ambery Dylan Blue patchouli thing, and even a little bit of Y Eau de Parfum kind of sweetness. So I guess you could say maybe it's a combination of a couple of your favorite blue scents. You know, it isn't 100% Bleu de Chanel. It's not 100% Y Eau de Parfum. Kind of a mixture. So for a lot of people, it's nothing to write home about, so to speak, especially if you already have those blues. But, you know, you can get this one for a great price on discounters now. It's a new release, nice presentation, heavy bottle, and ultimately, at the end of the day, this is going to be one of those compliment destroyer scents. If you just want to smell good and you also want good performance out of this one, check it out. It's an Eau de Parfum. I've been testing it here more so recently. I'll have a review coming up soon, if not already out. And on my skin, it's been a really nice, average, solid 8-hour performer. Definitely can't complain. All right, let's keep it moving with ARMAF DETOUR Noir, the Supreme Latent Cologne. This is the one to get right here. 100 ml, $35. And lately it's been pretty consistently in stock. I don't think it's sold out once, and it's been in stock for a couple of weeks now. So fingers crossed, they're going to be able to supply a decent amount of this one and keep a sufficient amount in stock, although who knows for sure. But there was a while where it was nowhere to be found. It got initially hyped up and then boom, it was gone. So hopefully you'll be able to get this one easier now. Like I said, there's quite a few latent clones out there on the market currently, but I do think this one takes the cake. You know, I've got several of them, from stuff like Lalique White and Black limited edition all the way over to something like Tommy Hilfiger Impact Intense, you know, something a little bit random, but definitely a take on the Parfums de Marly latent style. This one really just does it in the best way possible, and I recommend this one to anyone and everyone who wants a latent clone. And even if you already have a bottle of latent, you know, maybe the cheapest price you got it was $180 on one of those sales, maybe a bit less, all the way up to paying full retail. You can buy this and save a lot of money by just wearing out of this day to day. Save your real deal for special occasions or whatever. There's many options for clones. That's just one of them. Let's go over to ARMAF with Très Nuit Lyric. So, you know, the original would definitely be a staple that you should own, and that's a clone of Green Irish Tweed, of course. Talked about it quite a bit on the channel. It's a great one, okay? But I wanted to feature something a little bit different, and you don't hear as much about Lyric. And this one's kind of inspired by, you know, an Acqua di Gio Profondo, Acqua di Gio Original type of deal. Essentially is how this one is. Even little bits and pieces of Essenza in here from the aromatics. Just a really, really nice aquatic. Very pleasant, and at a fraction of the price to something like Profondo. Now, there's also Azarochrome Extreme, which is quite similar to Profondo as well. However, this is half the price of Extreme. So usually around 20, Extreme is around 40, and Profondo, depending on the bottle size, anywhere from 80, 85 to 100. So you can really go down the line, and if savings is your #1 priority, you cannot go wrong with this one. It's impressive, even though it is very cheap. Okay, let's go with another Maison Alhambra Latafa deal here. This is a, well, I'm sure you can probably just look at it actually and see what it's a clone of. Yeah, Tom Ford Bright Peach. Could you imagine? Or Tom Ford Bitter Peach. This is Bright Peach, Tom Ford Bitter Peach. All right, just dug my bottle out. Do a little side-by-side comparison. Yeah, I would say that's pretty spot on, except the Lattafa here is double the size in terms of, you know, storage size. This is 50 ml, this is 100. So as you could probably imagine, this is all about the peach. There's a little bit of like a boozy accord in here as well, some sweetness. I love this DNA, and I'm super happy about this because the Tom Ford is quite expensive. It's not often on discounters. It's a little bit of a tricky one to work into videos because not everyone's going to want to pay for that. But you can get this one for like $20, $25, maybe $30, just somewhere around in there. And it's a really good representation of the Tom Ford. All right, let's move over to another ARMAF. This is one of the 4 new releases that they dropped on us all at once out of nowhere. It's quite entertaining. It's ARMAF Club de Nuit Untold. So, you know, I've covered this in a full review. I've also covered Iconic and then Urban Man Elixir. And so this is going to be, as you can maybe even tell somewhat, what it would be inspired by. It's Baccarat Rouge 540, Eau de Parfum in particular. And it is a really, really good clone of it. Like I said, I'm not going to bore you with the details. I've done a full review on it. I break it down, go over performance. But it's impressive. Like it gets that, even that kind of latexy smell that BR 540 does have. It even gets it down to that level here. So just very close in all the ways. Also has great performance. You know, BR 540 is definitely no slouch in the performance category, and this one, being an eau de parfum, is still holding up really well and definitely blows a lot of the other clones out of the water in terms of performance. Up next, we have a newer addition to the collection here and kind of a newer clone release overall. Not brand new. I think it's been out for a few months, maybe close to a year actually, but whatever. It's it's Paris Corner Vaux Elegante. So again, these brands are just getting so wild all over the place. So Paris Corner, right? This, maybe you could tell, a clone of Naxos, and I was super pumped to see this one show up because, you know, Naxos, it's another one of those hype beasts. Even though it's niche and expensive, when that one pops onto discounters, it sells out quick as well. And so you can get this one here. It gets you really, really close to it. Now, there are things like Insurrection 2 Wild. That's a really good clone as well, but there are some differences between them. And I think overall this one gets that dusty, powdery honey combination down to a T. And it's a very close clone with nice presentation at a great price. And we're going to end the video with Fragrance World Imperium. Now this, as you could probably tell, is a clone of Elysium and a very well done clone. Not only are they getting the bottle down, but the scent is pretty close as well. You get a ton of that vetiver and grapefruit in here, some of that bright ambroxan, and then some of the sweeter, kind of fresher notes like the black currant and that sort of thing. But essentially Elysium is all about that combination I just described it as, the vetiver citrus deal with the ambroxan. It's essentially just a very high-end blue fragrance, right? Elysium itself. This is coming from someone who loves Elysium, and I have multiple bottles of it. So that's not a dig at the scent. I really like it a lot, but let's call it like it is, high-end blue. Not everyone wants to spend $200 for the Parfum Cologne at discounters, maybe a bit more, or $485 full retail for the Parfum 50 ml. That stuff just gets out of hand real quick. This one you can pick up, I think for around, I think I spent maybe $30, $40 on this one. It's a little bit hard to get right now, but hopefully that'll change soon. And it's definitely worth it if you want an Elysium clone. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for me. 10 of the best cheap clones of some of the most expensive hyped up scents on the market. If you are tired of feeling left out by seeing all these super expensive things being hyped up and you want to get them but you don't want to spend a whole bunch of money, go for these. They will not let you down. Very solid clones all the way around, and you can get all of these in this video for maybe a bit over $100 at the end of the day. Probably more than that, but depends on where you're shopping and what's in stock or whatnot. But a couple $100 you can get all these versus a couple $100 will go towards one bottle of some of these other ones. Links will be down below, and again, that mailing list, that'll be your fighting chance at getting some of these rare ones that move quick. I send out a notification, you'll be able to pick up some amazing things. Even stuff like La Nuit de l'Homme Bleu Electrique, Bulgari Aqua Atlantique testers, and Luminous Night, Dolce & Gabbana, Guerlain L'Homme Ideal Extreme. All of these are things that have recently shown up that I've sent out emails for. Issey Miyake Noir Ombre. These things go quick. Get on that list, you won't regret it. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.